So last week, Bank of Canada's Senior Deputy Governor Caroline Rogers said this.
The signs that say, in an emergency, break the glass, well, it's time to break the glass.
The need to improve productivity has reached an emergency level as the economy faces a future where inflation may be more of a threat than in the past few decades. She also said this, an economy with a low productivity can grow only so quickly before inflation sets in, but an economy with a strong productivity can have a faster growth, more jobs, higher wages with the less risk of inflation. So why all of a sudden Canada's productivity became an urgent issue compared to past 20, 30 years? Because we know compared to many other countries, Canadians' productivity has always been lower compared to many other countries. So in this quick video, I want to walk you through, first of all, how do you identify this problem? And then how do you measure productivity? And also, as a business owner or business leaders, what can we do to not only help our own company to increase productivity, but also how could we solve this problem for Canada as well? So let's talk about how do we measure, how do we describe this problem. So if you talk to any economist, they will tell you that there's three factors that makes up productivity. The first one is capital intensity. The second one is a labor composition. And the third one is a multi-factor productivity. So let's talk about the first one, capital intensity. Capital intensity is about equipping your workforce with the proper tools. You can certainly dig a ditch with a very manual tool, but if you're going to dig a ditch, if you have a very high-end technology tools, electronic tools, you can complete the ditch much faster. That's what capital intensity is about. How do you equip your workforce with the proper tools? This does not only apply to construction, but how about software tools, hardware tools, process automation? So how many different ways you can equip your people so they can produce the result much faster instead of doing a manual work. So that's where capital intensity comes in. Where you invest money on, I see this ongoing basis that where business owner, business leaders so hesitant to spend money on software, hardware tools for their staff so they can get the job done much faster. So they're still looking at technology investment or capital investment, any technology as expense items instead of looking at from a productivity standpoint that this capital they invest will make their people much faster to produce better result. So that's the first item. The second item, economists will tell you that labor composition. This is where the training for your staff comes in. How well you train your staff. This report also talks about that bringing international students with a high school or college education requires so much training before we can get a work out of them. Just using that labor force only for low-end jobs in retail industry does not solve Canadian productivity problems. So we need people with a high-end skill sets, with the education and experience, so we can increase the productivity. And in Canada, we've been doing that for the last few years, where we've been bringing international student, and it's causing issue. It's actually causing negative impact on a Canadian productivity than other way around. So those are the two: how well you train your people, how well they can perform duties at work, and be productive. So that's a labor composition. And the third one, multi-factor productivity, is a combination of these two: capital intensity and labor composition. So these are three factors when economies measure any country's productivity. So why this is a challenge for Canada? While Canada ranks amongst the top countries to live in, our productivity doesn't even hit the top 10 compared to the countries in OECD, which is Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. This is an organization where economic cooperation is set by the countries. There's about 38 countries in this group, and all these countries have economic cooperations. So we used to be top number 4, but currently we are number 18 at a 42.5%, and Ireland is number 1. So even countries are smaller than Canada, they rank much higher than Canada. There's also data in this report that right now we are number 18, but if we keep doing what we're doing, we're going to number 34, 35 very, very quickly. So that's a challenge for Canada. So the challenge this one creates is that if our productivity is so low, and our living standards so high, we simply just cannot maintain those living standards. So our living standard goes down, our competitive advantage compared to other countries go down as well. So that's the challenge for Canada. How are we going to maintain those living standards when we can't even maintain the productivity on the same levels where it was before? And if you compare that with the US, Canadian productivity has diminished by 9% between 2000 and 2022, falling to 72% of that of the US. So we got about 9% down compared to before 2022. So even compared to US, we are much lower now. So what is the root cause of this problem in Canada? So one of the challenge I find from looking from business standpoint is that above 90% business in Canada are small businesses. This is definitely a very unique challenge for Canada. When you have above 90% business are small businesses don't invest in retooling. They do not invest a lot of money into training their staff to improve their skill set. So when you have a small business, you're not going to improve productivity. It's simply just going to be serving small, a small, business audience. So we gotta improve our industry and have a big corporation instead of just depending on a small businesses all the time. And definitely government's subsidies for the telecom industry does not cut it. We have a Bell and Rogers or a couple other telecom companies, but these companies also very transactional. They're not going to retool their staff. They're not going to definitely invest a lot more in a tooling for personal or professional development for the staff. These are companies on a transactional base. They serve consumers. So those are the only few companies we have. So we definitely need a large industry, big corporations, large industries where they can spend a lot of time on whether training the people or providing that very efficient tools or automating business process so people can be more productive and produce per capita to compete with other countries. So that's going to be competitive advantage for us. So definitely we need to build large corporations more than simply depending on small businesses. So I want to share something with you from as a running a technology company. What can business leaders or business owners can do when they work in a mid-small businesses to help out, not only solve this problem for their own business, but also for helping out Canadian productivity as well. Because similar problems, the same problem that Canada's is dealing with on productivity, every business is dealing with a very similar problem. I think that's what compounds this problem on a national level instead of just a business level. So a lot of businesses I talk to, they're also struggling with the very similar challenges. So a few items I want to mention. The first thing business leaders can do is focus on automation. Take a look at how many manual processes do you have in your business. What can you automate, whether it's a software tool or hardware tool? Look for opportunities. What can you do to automate the process? When you start automating some of the manual process in a business, you will see that you can get a lot more done with the minimum staff. Not only it will solve your problem, it will also help us to produce more per capita on a national level as well. So that's number one. Look for automation and focus on automation. Invest some money into automation and speed up your business process. That's the number one. The second one, as you notice from that, from the previous items I mentioned in the video, it's that staff training is the second one. Invest into tools and technology. Provide your staff with the latest tools and technology and then train people on that. So what I mean by training is not only training people on a software that you purchase or the hardware you purchase. Invest money on training people on your way of running business, because that's going to help them to speed up and increase productivity in your business. So not only that soft piece of software you bought or hardware you bought, but also train people. This is how you run a business. Most business leaders understand, they all agree that they have a very unique business. Their process is very unique. So why not just document the process and train your people on that so they can produce better? They can get all this, office software training or ERP software training from a vendor directly. But how you use the software is very unique to your business. So train people on that so they can speed up your business and your productivity and move your business forward. So that's number two. The third one is the technology investments. Many business owners and business leaders, they always put IT department under CFOs. When you put somebody CFO, all he's simply trying to do is scrutinize that every dollar you spend on technology. which is not the case these days. You got to look at a technology as an investment in your company, not only going to increase your productivity, also going to lower your risk and also manage your risk and help you control costs and other areas of your business. So take a look at these reports, and I'm going to attach more resources below this video as well. Start considering technology investment, technology cost as an investment instead of simply scrutinizing as an expense item in your business. Once you start focusing on that, you change your perspective, you will see that it will open up a lot of opportunities for you, especially opportunities for AI. There's a lot of hypes around AI, but what can you do in your business to use AI to advantage? Look for those opportunities, automate those processes, and use AI to gain the competitive advantage that you need. And the last item I will mention that is focus more on innovation. Get your IT department, your IT staff to focus not only doing a daily operations or maintaining your equipment to move your business forward, but get them to focus more on innovation. Get them to involve in a business. Ask them to look for opportunities. What can you do better in a business? These IT staff you have in your team, not only they understand business, they also understand technology very well. So they are very equipped to give you some pointers, some creative way of looking. How can they help you to achieve your goals? So use their skill set, get them to focus more on innovation, and encourage creativity. Force them to come up with creative ways of solving some of the problems you're trying to solve in a business, and be open to new perspective. If your IT staff is not going out and retraining themselves, you're gonna need a new perspective from somebody to look at your operations a different way. So stay open to new perspective, and focus on innovations and find more creative ways of solving your business problems. Hopefully those 4 will help. And definitely, it's the problem with the Canadian productivity is not going to be solved in a short period. But if we can do all of our part, every business owners, every business leaders, if we can do a little bit of our part to improve our businesses, I'm sure it's going to make a difference on a national level, and definitely we can help out the Canadian productivity problem. So let's focus on our business. If we can improve our business, I'm sure it's going to also help out economy as well. Thank you. Until next video, enjoy.